Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hi, thank you so much for being here. I really had fun last week. We shared good advice that we'd heard from other people, and my sweet friend Amy was kind to share some great advice she got from one of her neighbors. She walked by her house like every day on her neighborhood walk, and she had an amazing garden, gorgeous garden, tons of layers, and it was absolutely stunning. And when she asked, she said, I want to do that. How'd you do that? She said, little by little, which is perfect advice for so many things, anything worthy that we want to do, anything big, anything more than just a quick thought. It takes step by step. It takes day by day. It takes trial and failure. 3 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, you're making a step forward, more positive than negative, but still, those slides make you feel nervous. But she said you got to do it little by little, and Amy's thought about that many times over the years. And so I appreciated her sharing that. I've thought about it a lot too. And I also love that a little bit older woman gave that advice, because I think out of all, if I were lining up like 5 older women, I would probably take advice from any single one of them. But the gardener, I mean, I would especially go to her, because you know she's patient. And you also know, I mean, she was way ahead of us on the whole, like, be outside, get content with nature, put your feet on grass, let the sun hit your eyeballs type of thing. Like, that's the new current trend. There's always something going on that's like, hey, every single thing in your life is going to go better if you'll just blank, if you'll just hit your 10,000 steps, if you'll just get vitamin D, if you'll just this. They're saying get out in the morning and let the sunlight hit your eyeballs, and so you can take in that real sunlight, and put bare feet on grass so that you can kind of connect with the earth, Mother Nature. It's like an ion thing, I think. I don't know the details. I don't spend enough time on TikTok, but the girlies there will surely tell you quickly if you want to know. I think actually a lot of it has to do with the blue lights that we're always looking at on our computers and on our phones and on our iPads and on our TVs. So yeah, we all need to probably go get some sun in our eyes and our feet on the grass. But she was so connected. I just feel like a gardener would have great advice. And I'm going to share some advice that I got one time that has always stuck with me, but it was from a very unexpected source. And this is interesting time for me to be telling you this story, because this has kind of been a theme in my recent life. Is, let's say I either meet someone and I have a snap judgment about them, which, I mean, I come by honest. A lot of us do that, and I have done it for many years, and I'm great at it. But maybe I meet someone, I have a snap judgment about them, and cut to 2 months later, and we're besties because I, read your face and not your attitude or whatever. And I also had this dinner I went to. There was someone there that I would have said, like, I know him. I don't know him well. We're acquaintances, but I know a lot of his friends. I knew him back in junior high. I, have seen him over time. We are both live in the same hometown. So I've seen this person here and there. And I would say, yeah, I kind of know him. I had a sense of what he was like a jock, just didn't care much about school, wanted to play football, and probably date a cheerleader, which, can't blame you. But we chatted a little bit, and it became pretty quickly clear that he was very mature emotionally. Like, I wanted to just time out. I'm so sorry. Like, you sound like you have had so much therapy. And I love this for our generation and for you and for your kids and for like my hope of the future. I was like, who are you? And I thought to myself, how idiotic to know someone when they were 16 years old and think that when I run across them, they're going to be 16 years old still. Like, of course, he's changed and grown. I mean, not everyone does. I will fully admit that. Some people I do come across and I'm like, you are the same as you were when you were 16. Hello. But it was such an encouraging, like, reminder to me. Go in open. When you meet somebody or you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time, or you know somebody's intentionally working on something, go in open, because you don't know how far they've come, or you don't know what's really under there. You know, we try to put off a good first impression, but that's just a first impression. Whether it's great or bad, it's not near enough to really get to know a person. It's like that first date, you know, you got to get through all that, the show that they put on, before you can really see kind of like what's behind the wall. So it was a good reminder. I'm not going to say don't judge a book by its cover, but you know, don't jump to a conclusion too quickly, because you might miss out on something very cool. And this same thing happened to me. I was young. I was in my 20s. And I was at this job where I did not make a lot of money. And I mean, I was young, I was somewhat inexperienced, but I was really good. And people around me were doing much better than I was financially. I mean, they had a higher rate. We worked hourly and they made a higher rate than I did. I feel like today organizations are better about that. I feel like, you know, your first year you get this, or if you're a guy or a girl, when we start you, this is the pay for this role and here's what you get. But back then, I mean, it was very much, I could definitely see that the guys made more, the girls that were cute made more, or the people that were friends with so-and-so made more. And then kind of the rest of us were not blessed in that way. And this guy that I worked with was so nice and encouraging. He was older than me, but put up a very like frat boy kind of vibe, you know, young and just like wanting to have fun all the time and goofing off, that kind of thing. And some of that was me reading that, but to be fair, sometimes what you're getting and what you're reading off of a person is what they're exactly putting out. So, you know, we should be open, but you also can learn a lot about a person based on what they are sharing with you. And he was sharing Frat Bro, you know, no offense to my lovely friends in a fraternity. I mean that kind of personality. But he was also very nice to me, really encouraging. And he was one of the people that made the good money. He kind of was at the top of the making the good money. And so he was really encouraging to me, like, hey, why don't you ask for a raise? Why don't you this or that? Try this. Here's who you need to talk to. Not necessarily guiding me through, but just encouraging me like, yeah, why not? You know? And I said, yeah, he so-and-so, you know, Bob or whoever's working on it. And he said, look, I got to tell you, when I used to hear that, I had this image in my head that Bob's over here like slamming his fist on tables and talking all about me and how great I was, and I got to get this rate. We couldn't live without him. We've got to show him how much we care. And that feels great, but it's most likely like in passing, like, hey, do we have any more money for Joy? And someone's like, nope. And he's like, okay, well, I asked. Like, he's not trying to find the money. He's not trying to get it out of anyone's hands. He's like, did anybody drop any money? Nope. Okay. Sorry, there wasn't any extra money on the floor that we could give you. Our bad. But, I'm imagining him just like taking up his sword and fighting for me. And really, he's just like, look, sorry. Now do I get credit for trying? Cool. Now you can just keep working for your low wage, but be grateful that I'm out here fighting for you. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. That wasn't necessarily the advice I took with me, but it did change how I framed things, because that is so true. And people definitely want people fighting for them. But I also think it was more of just a reality check, of how things really work. And not that my request wasn't important, but it sure wasn't keeping anybody up at night. And in the big picture, it was a very small problem, a very small need to be dealt with, if it needed to be dealt with at all. It was more like a gnat floating around. And so that was really helpful. But I said, I'm not a good negotiator. And so even if I ask for something, if someone wants to come back and say something, I don't know what to do. And I don't know how to, I don't know how to compose myself in that. I have no experience in that. And, I kind of need to get better at it, because it's time for me to get a car. And I don't know how to do that. We've discussed that up teen times. Like, it's just not that's not my thing that I'm really good at. And he said, well, here's the thing. And I was like, yo, what's the thing, frat bro? He said, the thing is, when we ask for something, when we ask for equality, or we ask for an opportunity, or we ask to improve, like the best example is when you ask to have patience. What we imagine is that the Lord, or whoever you say has the sprinkles, is just going to sprinkle patience over us, and we're going to wake up so patient, like so patient, and everything, all the, the birds are going to be flying around, brushing my hair, and kids aren't bothering anyone. Everyone's letting you in traffic. No one's being a jerk. It's just like there's a parking space for you. Thank goodness I asked for this patience. He's like, what actually happens? Because God, the universe, we want you to have patience, but he's going to put you in a situation in which you are pressed and in which you are pushed, so that you have to develop patience. So in my mind, I'm imagining everything super, super smooth. No, it's actually not even like a normal day. It's going to be worse. Something's going to really try my patience, so that I have to create that rut in my brain of like how to be patient. So he said, not be careful, but know what you're asking for. He said, when you say, I need to learn to negotiate, you're going to be put in a spot where you have to negotiate. So be ready for it. I appreciate that advice for so many reasons. And I did ask for the raise. I asked very poorly for it. I came in, guns ablazing, angry, and like, you better give me this raise or I'm gonna quit, which is just such a tacky way to go about it. But I was brand new and I didn't know what to do. And I thought it was going to be this big fight and all that, you have to screw it up a couple of times before you know what to do right. And, I gave Bob a deadline by Friday, end of business Friday, or else I'm going to quit. And he did not write me or no email, nothing. And I went to work on Saturday, and I guess, I don't know if he asked around if I was doing a good job or just phoning it in or what. But by the time I finished my shift and clocked out, or I was about to clock out, and I had an email that he gave me the raise. even though I did it so poorly. But it was the first time I had ever done that. And you would have thought I just got a $1 million signing bonus. I mean, I was so proud of myself. But I have learned over time that a lot of women are less likely to kind of be naturals at that, be comfortable doing that, or know how to do it. I think we don't talk enough about it amongst each other. And I don't know if men do talk about it and we just don't, or their dads taught them, or I really don't know. I'd love to know that. Are you guys just naturally good at it, or do you just not overthink everything and assume that you deserve it and then go ask for it and get it? Because I think there's a lot of that too. I know so many women that question their abilities or their, what do I want to say? Their, not their worth, but that do they deserve to be there? Do they deserve this role? Do they deserve this level of this thing? And I would say, number one, who cares? You're there. And number two, yeah, you do. And so I think if we believed in ourselves as much as men commonly do, we would probably be asking more frequently. This most recent job I took, I negotiated a little bit, and I want to tell you, one of my friends, quite literally, I was like, hey, how did you negotiate that? How did you word that? How did you bring it up or whatever? Well, what did you say? She literally was like, hang on, sent me the letter she wrote, sent me the email that she wrote. He was like, here's my verbiage, and here's what I said, and here's the why, and here's what I ended up with. I so appreciated that. It was so helpful that I think we need to do more of that. We need to help each other more with that, and we need to talk more about it, because if we can start getting better at it, maybe we can get rid of this whole conversation about making 77 cents on the dollar for, like, let's just catch up and be done with that. We have so much other stuff to worry about. It's 2026. Let's just get up there, or we can out earn y'all for a couple years to balance things out. I think that would be fine. But I forgot where I was because I got all on the patriarchy for just a second. Oh, she helped me so much, and I super appreciated that. Now, I like giving other people's advice because I don't really have a ton of good advice, but this I do have, and I want you to listen to me. Look at me, listen to me, and never forget this. Anytime you are talking about a salary, negotiating a salary, a rate, a bonus, any kind of structure of any of that, anything in that area, even price of a car, anything like that, any of this, but especially salaries, say zero words about your bills, your costs, who lives in your house, who are you supporting, the car payment, this, that. 0 words about that. 0. Do not mention it. Don't even let it be anywhere in your mind, for 2 reasons. Number one, they don't care, and they did not sign up for any of that. They did not buy that car. They did not have those kids. They did not buy that dishwasher. You know what I mean? They did not decide they had to have a pool. They don't care. Okay? Second, and most important, you do not deserve that money because of what your car payment is. You do not deserve that money because of who is eating out of your pantry. You deserve that money because of who you are and what you bring and what your skills are and what you have done in the past that you are able to do in this role. It's all about what you bring, and you're not asking for enough. And you probably won't get enough. It's just the way of the world. But that is why. What have you done to show, and what are you going to do? What are your ideas for this place? What are you excellent at? What are you really good at that you already see is lacking in this area? Talk about yourself, your skills, what you have to offer, why they're geniuses for hiring you. But you don't need 1 penny to pay any of your bills. Who cares? What if you had no bills? You still want your money, huh? What if your dad owns Exxon? Too bad, you still get your money. You still get your money. Who you are. Have we already had this conversation? Yeah, we have. Knowing who you are, knowing what you have to offer, and just stepping into it, doing it, being it. Skip this whole thing of like, I deserve it. Am I good enough for this? Oh, I feel so guilty about this. Oh, I don't know. Was that good enough? Yes, you deserve to be here. And you have this gift for this reason, so go use it. And in the meantime, you're going to support your family, so tell somebody about it and make sure you get paid what you need to get paid. Okay? And all that advice was from Frat Bro. See? You just never can tell.
Thanks for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. I'm James, the producer, editor, director, and executive producer. Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Honestly, forget TikTok. I don't even know how to use it anyway.
You don't know how to use it anyway.
James?
Follow Joy on socials at Joy Delaney Cox on Instagram and Facebook. See you next week.